Hi, Shane here. You're watching Sam for God, and this is Mark. Check her out.
So hi guys, how you doing? I went to see Frozen 2, the film, in the cinemas last night, which would have been the very first release day of the film in the UK anyway, the 22nd of November 2019. I'd been pretty excited about this film, like excited and worried, I'm not gonna lie, because I really liked Frozen 1 when it first came out. In fact, shout out to my friend Beth. When it first came out, Beth and I went to see it together in the cinemas back in 2013. And we both didn't expect to love it as much as we did. We thought it was fantastic, and that was like 6 years ago. And of course, over the past like several years, Frozen has become this insane phenomenon. And like Let It Go is a song that is overplayed constantly, and like it's, you know, basically you can't go to any toy shop without seeing at least something Frozen related. It's become too big, like such a big thing. I never thought, and I don't think Disney thought, that it would get to this level. Like it was a great film, but I don't know, the hype around it is obviously insane. So I genuinely think that the main reason, or even the only reason, that Disney decided to do a second Frozen was because of how popular the first one was. And doing a sequel to a very, very popular film is always very difficult. So I'd been looking forward to it for a long time, and then on the day, like actually yesterday when I was about to kind of go to cinema, I was like, Lord have mercy, I hope it's actually good, because in my head I think it will be good, because I know I love all the Frozen characters, they're all great, you know. I have enjoyed them for all these years, but it suddenly hit me that it could actually not be very good, which is good, because I feel like if I hadn't thought that before going to cinema, I would have gone in with really high expectations. But because I had that sudden thought process, I went in thinking, I'm going to be happy if they just do it justice, like, because I just knew it wasn't going to be as good as the first one. As in, like, the first one has, like I said, so much hype about it that there was no way they could match that same level, in my opinion. And yeah, I think they did a good job with the second one. Like, they did the best they could, basically. I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought it was a decently good film. Was it amazing? No. Was it even nearly as good as the first one? Nope. Is it a phenomenal standalone film? Again, no. It's just a decent, goodish sequel to Frozen, in my opinion. Let me try and explain some of my thoughts. So, visually, this film is stunning, and you could have seen that just from the trailers anyway, because everyone, all the characters, the scenery, everything looks a million times, not a million times, but a lot better than the first Frozen, because of course, like, animation technology is going to advance constantly, and Frozen 1 came out 6 years ago, so they have more to work with now, and honestly it looked beautiful. The animation as well was phenomenal. Like, the way Anna, especially both Anna and Elsa and all the characters, but especially Anna and Elsa, the way their faces moved, their facial expressions, their characteristics, when they were talking, their mouths, their movements, their tears, everything just seemed so beautiful and realistic, and I really appreciated that. Like, fantastic, 10 out of 10 for animation and visual beauty. The other thing I liked, of course, were the characters. I thought the characters are really fun. There's a reason Frozen 1 became so popular, and I think part of the reason is because the characters are so well developed. They're very likable. I mean, apart from maybe Hans, but yeah, they're all very likable, relatable. I mean, Anna is such a fun character. Elsa's really interesting and beautiful, and it was great to see them again, like Olaf, you know, Sven. I loved seeing them. It made my heart happy just seeing them all on screen again. Sven is just so adorable. Kristoff is the cutest guy. I wish guys like that existed in real life. Like, where are you, Kristoffs of the world? Olaf actually had a very big part in this film, bigger than normal, and I enjoyed him. Like, there were times when I thought they were kind of pushing it with how much screen time they were giving him, but for the most part, for like 90% of the time that he was on screen, I thought he was great and he was funny. But I mean, Gad is so great. We're going to get to the voice actors in a second, but yeah, Olaf is a bigger part in this than he is in the first one. So I know Olaf can be a bit of a hit and miss character. If you didn't really like him in the first one, he's in it a lot more in the second one, and even I loved him in the first one. And even I found it a little bit forced at times in the second one. I was like, oh, we don't need, just, it's okay, we've seen enough of you now, Olaf. The jokes are getting a bit boring now. Elsa, her character development in this is great. I liked her more than I did in the first one. I've always been more of an Anna girl. I just relate to her more than I do to Elsa. I've always found Elsa a little bit annoying, just because I'm like, stop being so selfish. And I know she's not, but I'm just like, you kind of are. But yeah, in this one, I really fell for her. I really did. She makes some interesting, but also, I think, quite selfless decisions throughout this. And yeah, she was beautiful. She has some great songs, which again we're going to get to in a second, but I thought she was great. Anna, weirdly enough, actually at times did annoy me a little bit, which is so weird. I've never had that before. I don't even think it was Anna that annoyed me. I think it was just there were too many sister scenes between Anna and Elsa, and a lot of them were very similar. Like literally, basically, I don't want to give any spoilers away in this or any kind of plot holes or anything. Not plot holes, but storylines, nothing of that sort. But they did go on an adventure. Obviously, you can imagine that that's what happens in any Disney film. They go on an adventure to find things and see what's going on and what blah blah blah. And we all know what Anna's like from the first film. She wants to be in Elsa's life. She's always like, "Don't do anything without me, Elsa. I want to come with you." There were so many moments like that in this film. Like, honestly, I lost count. Of course, that's part of their character. That's what they're like. That's what Anna's like. That's what Elsa's like. They always have this sisterly relationship where, you know, Elsa wants to do things alone and doesn't want to hurt Anna, but Anna's like, "No, I want to come and help you." And it was really cute seeing these moments, maybe like 2 or 3 times, but I felt like they got a bit too much. Like, I felt like every 15 minutes or so, there was another moment between the two of them where, like Anna was like, "I want to help you," and Elsa was like, "No." I don't know, maybe that's just me. I just found like it just got a little bit too much. But apart from that, I did love their sisterly relationship. There were some really cute moments between them. Very cute. Anna is such a great sister. I mean, so is Elsa. They're so they make me wish I had a sister. Like, why did I not have a sister? Like, what happened? Why do I have a brother? I want a sister. Just joking, obviously I do love my brother. Okay, I do also want to briefly talk about Kristoff, because even though he is adorable as a character, and he is equally as adorable in this film as he is in the first one, not much happened to him. There was hardly any character development for him. He felt a bit pointless in the film, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he did provide some entertaining moments. He was cute. Every time I saw him I'd be like, "Oh, you are a sweetheart." But I don't know, I just felt like his character could have been so much more, and it kind of wasn't. Briefly going to talk about the songs now, because the songs were really good, and of course that was one of the biggest worries, I think, for me and the majority of the fans, because Frozen, the first Frozen, Frozen #1, did so well in terms of the music in it. Like, Let It Go is like the most iconic, probably one of the most iconic Disney songs of all time now. It's a legendary song. And so I think the pressure was on for them to create equally good songs for this. And I don't know, I didn't think they would be able to. But once I saw it last night, I kind of decided that they have, in a way. I mean, look, none of the songs in Frozen 2 are as, like, I guess not powerful, but as extreme and insane as Let It Go, and they never will be, because we've already heard Let It Go. The songs in Frozen 2 are similar to Let It Go, and Idina Menzel / obviously Elsa has a couple of phenomenal songs, but they're never going to have the same success as Let It Go, because like I said, they're similar to Let It Go, sorry. But that doesn't mean they're not good. These 2 new songs that Elsa has are fantastic. I think my favourite one was probably Into the Unknown. It's a beautiful song. Yeah, Elsa sings it so well, or Idina Menzel sings it really, really well. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I'm not very familiar with all the songs yet. Oh yeah, we see a bit more of Elsa and Anna's mum and dad in this, and it's a bit about their story, actually. Not mainly about their story, but I don't know. Initially, you get to learn a little bit more about them, and Elsa and Anna's mum especially is so cute. She is so cute. She has a song in the beginning of the film, and it's adorable. I really enjoyed that song. It made me just want to cuddle up with my mom and be like, "I love you, mom." Well, it's a really cute song in my opinion, and a cute scene. Kristen Bell, Anna has a few good songs as well. Yeah, Olaf has a song that is very similar to the one in the first one, in Summer, but this one's about like growing up, and I thought it was cute. Again, I did think it was very cute what they did with Olaf, about how he's excited to grow up and for things to make sense to him once he's an adult, which is ironic because as adults we all know that, you know, when you grow up it doesn't mean that you know everything. It actually means that you're probably more confused than you were when you were a child. But yeah, I thought what they did with him was cute, but again it did start to get a little bit much. Like, I just wanted him to calm down a bit and not continuously say things, you know? One of my biggest issues, and it's not even an issue, it's just something that made me sad, but Kristoff, Jonathan Groff, has a song in this, which is amazing because Jonathan Groff, fantastic singer, beautiful voice. I've actually met the guy. Fun fact, I met him when he was on a plane in London many years ago. I got a picture with him. If I find it, which I probably won't, if I find it, I'll put it here. He was a lovely guy, talented guy, I love his voice. But yeah, it was great that he had a song, but the song that he sings, and I can't remember what it's called, I think maybe Lost in the Woods. Yeah, it just comes at a really random time, and it just feels so out of place, guys, I'm not gonna lie. They basically turn that song for Kristoff into a boy band song, like very typical boy band stuff that you would see, like the Backstreet Boys. There are videos from the 90s, if you watch any of those, where they're just like kind of making all these like movements and like I don't know, just like exaggerated boy band movements, and that's exactly what Kristoff does in this song. It was funny. It was funny, like, and they animated it very well, but it just did not work in the premise of the film, in my opinion. It was out of the blue. It did not make sense. It wasn't needed. It turned Kristoff into a bit of a kind of, I don't know. I would have preferred him to have a more serious song. Or, I mean, the song itself isn't bad, it's just the way it's executed that I'm not a fan of. And that's big coming from me because I love boy bands, and I feel like that song as a standalone song, like if they just made that into a music video, just Kristoff just singing a song pretending to be in a boy band, that would have been hilarious. That would have been like a fantastic video. But in the kind of storyline and the premise of the film, I just did not make sense to me. I cringed a little bit. I noticed most people around me were like either laughing, but not laughing in a good way, like laughing at the situation and laughing at how bad the whole thing was, or just being confused. Yeah, it wasn't needed, sorry. I do want to quickly also just talk about the cast, the voice actors. They are all fantastic. One of the best voice acting performances I've seen from all of them in this. It's beautiful, they're all great, lovable characters, and the voice actors do a really, really great job. Now, for my one big problem, which I think is the main reason why I didn't rate the film as high as I wanted to. The storyline. I just don't think the story is strong enough. I mean, there is a storyline, and you know, it's just very predictable. You kind of from the start, once you kind of figure out what they're gonna do, you can more or less predict what's gonna happen. At the end of the film, I'm not gonna lie, something happened that I was a little bit surprised at, but I thought it was good. Like, it made sense what happened. It was actually very cute. The ending was cute. I loved it. It brought me happiness and kind of, I didn't cry or anything throughout the film, but I did feel satisfied with the ending. But the whole journey, it just felt pointless, long, unnecessary, at times quite boring. And I feel like the whole journey was only really relying on the characters to entertain us, and I would have genuinely probably fallen asleep if it wasn't for Olaf's jokes or yeah, Anna and Elsa's little moments of like, you'd be like, oh, they're cute or whatever, because as an actual story, it just wasn't, in my opinion, executed well at all. And I genuinely think that's one of the reasons why they put that Kristoff scene in there, because they were like, oh, let's just do this fun thing with Kristoff, because then it will distract for people from the actual storyline and people might enjoy it, and then they won't bother too much about what we're doing with the story. It's not a bad storyline, it's just there's just not much of it. It's slow. It is pointless. I just didn't care much. Like in the first one, you really care about everything and the characters, and as I was watching more and more of Frozen 2, I started to care less and less about the characters, and it was making me sad. Like, I love these characters, but because the journey they were going on, I just didn't really care that much about it. And maybe that's me. Maybe I'm heartless. I don't know. I don't think I am though, because I normally cry at films. I don't know. I feel like they had a tough job, right? I get it. They, like I said, they've only made this film because they felt like they had to. They saw how much money Frozen 1 made for them and how popular it became and how much in demand it was, and everyone was like, we want a Frozen 2, and of course they were like, okay, we're gonna make another one, because why not? More money, more happiness from customers, and everyone's great. They were forced into making this, basically, you know? I can't imagine there being like a situation where some people at Disney were like, oh, I have this idea where we could do more with these characters, because Frozen 1 ended very perfectly. I don't think there was a need for a second one, and even if there was a need, I don't think there was a need for one to come out so soon, only 6 years after. Yeah, I just feel like they were under pressure and they were like, we need to do more with this because look, there's success and we need to make sure we give people what they want before people stop caring. Not that I can ever imagine people stop caring about Frozen, but yeah, I think it was a case of, we need to write a sequel. How do we do it? What can we do with the characters? Okay, this is a story that might make sense. It could be quite fun. Let's go with it. And I think the story probably did like work better on paper because it's a nice story. It's exciting, I guess, but the way it was executed, honestly, like, it just did not make sense. It was so bitty and so dull, and I honestly, nah, not my thing at all. So I think really the story is, for me, the reason why it's quite weak, and we all knew it would be. Like, sequels are very rarely as good as the first films. Yeah, but you know, there can be some sequels that are nearly as good as the first ones, or equally as good. I think Toy Story 2 is a good example. It's not actually my favourite Toy Story by any means. Toy Story 1 is my favourite, Toy Story 3 is my second favourite, Toy Story 4 is my third favourite, and Toy Story 2 is my fourth in the no, it's not the trilogy anymore, in the 4-piece of Toy Story films. But Toy Story 2 is still a very good film. Like, you watch Toy Story 2 and you can tell, yeah, it's not as good as number 1, but you also don't think that it's like not needed or unnecessary. You still like it, you still think it's a good film. But yeah, I just feel like Frozen 2, it wasn't a film that I would rush back to see again. It was cute, I did enjoy it, there were some good moments, it looked beautiful, great songs, and the characters are just adorable. How can you not like the characters? But I just don't think it worked that well. As soon as the film finished, I went to my mum and dad, they were both with me. I was like, 6 out of 10, and my mum agreed. She said 6 out of 10 as well. My dad said he'd give it 4 out of 10. There's a lot more songs in this as well, so if you're not a big fan of songs in Disney films, brace yourselves, because like, for instance, my dad doesn't enjoy like too many songs in films, any film, not even just Disney films. And Frozen 1 had quite a few songs, but it wasn't just like continuous song after song. Frozen 2 has so many songs, like it feels like every 5 minutes there's a new song being like, I don't know, performed to you. I didn't mind it too much, but I also feel like, again, it was kind of overdone a little bit. They just, again, they realized how successful the first one was with the songs, and they thought, let's make more songs, let's give them more songs, when it wasn't necessary. Some of the songs didn't really help the story. Like I said, there are some great songs. In fact, all the songs in it I think are great. But they're not necessarily good with the storyline. Elsa's song is fantastic, Into the Unknown. We all know it, it's the best one. Cool, I feel like I've been talking for a long time. Leave comments down below, let me know what you think. Like I said, I would give this film 6 out of 10. I think Frozen 1 for me is maybe 9 out of 10. Or maybe 8.5 out of 10. So by no means am I saying this film is bad. Like, it's above average for me. It's just not as good as it could have been, or as good as I thought it would be. I don't know. I still enjoyed it, and I'll probably see it again at some point. It's just not phenomenal, in my opinion. But I'd be interested to hear what you thought of it, if you've seen it, or if you're seeing it in the next few days or whatever. Feel free to let me know, either in the comments down below, or follow me on Instagram, Sam for God. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!